All right, fellas.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
We can. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. Y'all ready? I'm ready.
Well, one thing, obviously, and there might have been some talk about it on your last Zoom call. I wasn't able to make it on there, but a little bit of a different year defensively for you all with Jared and Jansen. Both have defensively going into this year with some of the guys that you brought in. Obviously, some more length, and it seems like some more athleticism as well.
Yeah, we're more athletic and have more length. We don't have the experience that we lost in Jared and Jansen, but certainly have the tools to be a stronger defensive team, rebounding team inside. Tavion and Andy are veterans, so our outside pressure, although maybe not full court like Jared did, I don't think it'll take a big drop off as far as guarding perimeters. And we have a little bit of experience. We'll be playing with guys that aren't as experienced, maybe guarding in the inside, but they have all the tools to become one of our better defensive teams.
Dan, another week of practice in the books. Just how you feeling about the team after, getting another 7 days to look at them?
Well, yesterday was real good. We had a real good day. Players have shown in practice that they've gotten better, that they worked on their game this summer individually. And, so far so good. Nobody's beaten us. So we scrimmaged the other day and both teams won. So we're good.
When you look, we have a little bit of background on the majority of the roster, but when you look at guys like Emerick and Chase, two guys that add a lot to your front court, what has surprised you the most about those two coming into it?
Nothing really. Chase is kind of what we thought we were going to get. Very smart. He's played, you can tell he's been around a lot of basketball. His dad, obviously, Derek, as a NBA veteran, a very good player in the NBA. He's been around a lot of basketball. He has a lot of basketball smarts. We got Toussaint late. But I'm really surprised at how he fits in. He seems to never change his pace. He's always working, and it doesn't matter whether he gets to shoot or go rebound, go set a pick, stand over on the side. He seems willing to do whatever it takes to make the team play well. So, that's a good trait, especially when you have main guys who have been here to score. You need those guys that kind of glue guys, and he's kind of willing to do that. And he doesn't get disappointed if he doesn't get the ball. He just keeps after it. So those are two good things. We had Wyatt Frisk, obviously was playing extremely well, the freshman at 6'8", 6'9", but he'll be out for 4 weeks, right up to the first game. So there'll have to be a decision made on him, but he played really well prior to. I was thinking about maybe a red shirt, but then he convinced me maybe not. So we just have to wait and see what happens when he gets back and how strong he's going to be on that knee.
When we talked to Goran the other day, he was obviously another one of the guys that did a lot of work on his body in the offseason. I asked him what he'd been working on the floor, and he said offense. He'd really been working on his shot, things like that. What have you seen out of him so far?
Well, he's a lot more decisive in shooting. He used to, almost think it instead of just shoot it. Now he grabs it, he shoots it, kind of knows when he can and when he can't. A little bit better than he did last year. It's probably because he has confidence that it'll go in. When you don't have confidence, you hesitate, and that's not a good skill in basketball. So I think he worked on it, feels a lot more confident in his shot, shoots it quicker, and he's more decisive as when to take it. And the last couple practices has been a lot more aggressive, going to rebound and things of that nature.
Coach, you
Well,
talked
with
about.
him,
Oh, go ahead, Grant.
go ahead, Justin. Sorry.
Oh, you're good, Grant. You're good, Grant. Talk about why you just said he's a little banged up on with the leg injury. With how many freshmen you have, how are you going to determine who's going to be redshirted? At least at this point in the practice, knowing that you're
Well, first of all, I don't force a red shirt on anybody. And so, we'll talk with them and see if that fits what they want to do and how they see their future here, what's best for them. Especially with freshmen, we do have, because of COVID with Mike and George both coming back, that we have ample amount of depth in really all positions. So we'll just, they'll see more clearly where they fit on the team. That'll probably help them make decisions, also help us make decisions, but I don't force a red shirt on anybody. And I don't deny a red shirt on anybody. So, red shirts are good. You look at our best players, CJ, red shirt, John, really, transfer, set out a year. Most of our best players have set a year and then played their senior year. So Jansen was really a red shirt. So, red shirts are good things. There's nothing negative unless you just don't feel like it fits you personally. So we'll let that take its own course and make decisions when it gets there.
Getting back to Goran for a second, when you look at Penova, it was that third year in which Penova really started to make the turn in confidence and become the player that he ended up being for you. Are you all seeing a similar path line with Goran, or is it a situation where you feel like everyone is unique and different?
Well, everybody's always uniquely different. Is there similarities? Yes, but you don't know how that'll turn out. So, everybody is a unique person. I don't treat everybody as a group. I don't have one rule fits all on our team other than be a good person, be responsible. I don't have being at 10 o'clock. It doesn't fit everybody. Or I'm just not that type that I allow freedom of choices and lifestyles and how they approach it. But there are high expectations as to when, not so much when, but getting certain things done. Your grades got to be good. I don't tell them they have a study hall every 2 hours or every night you got a study hall for 2 hours. No, your grades are going to be good. If they're not good, we'll address it. We'll adapt to you. So I've kind of raised my kids that way. And I kind of way I was raised growing up. We didn't have rules in my house, but we had some expectations. I knew to do certain things, but there was no set rule. I think rules get you in trouble, and plus kids will go right up to the edge. If they don't know where the edge is, sometimes they stay miles away. They don't even get close. So, biggest thing is once they get out of expectations and they don't live up to their end, and that's being a conscientious young man that gets along with people and works hard. When they get outside of that realm a little bit, then as a coach, you have to deal with it. If you don't deal with it, when you do a system like that, you'll have a lot of problems. So you do have to deal with it so they understand there are limitations, and it's worked out. We haven't had a lot of problems here, so everything's good with that regard. So as far as Goran goes, he's put the time in. I think he really wants. I can tell. Still got a few things he's got to work on. He's got to get his hands better and get his make sure he gets his feet up under him, doesn't lose his balance trying to do things. If we get him those two things, then he's going to be an outstanding player.
Dan, last time we talked, you mentioned that Kyle was a little banged up. Just any update on his status, and what's the general health status of the team? Anybody else feeling little bumps and bruises right now?
No, Kyle and Wyatt are the only two. Kyle practiced non-contact with us yesterday. So probably another week or so, non-contact. He'll go up and down to everything except scrimmages. And he looked good. He said he doesn't have any pain in it. Feels good. We're probably being a little overcautious, but you know, it's not a bad thing early in his career. We don't want to do anything that would hinder him being as good as he can be.
Well, what is that fine line, especially with a guard and you all being such a guard-oriented system? How difficult is it as a coach? Because, you know, Kyle is missing some precious time right now to learn under Andy, you know, help out, learn from Tavion, things like that. But at the same time, like you said, you don't want to rush him back and get him hurt.
Well, I think we got a little bonus, and I was a lot worried about our perimeter until we started playing a little bit this year and realized that Darius George can move out from a 4 to a 3. And our 3-2s are the same. So they run kind of the same pattern. So when George ball handling and taking to the basket off the dribble, shot a lot more consistent. Once he started doing that, then that kind of relieved some pressure out there. And then Obina has improved his range, his ball handling skills. And he's not quite, you know, ready to where I would do extended minutes there, but he can come in and give you some time at a 3 along with George, 2-3. So that kind of, if you had to go with, say, for instance, Tavion at the point, David Early out there with Obina or George, it's not bad. They can do that. Plus, you know, you got Marco who can sub in there too at the 3. So you got wings, and we don't really play a lead guard like when I play. You know, it's not, even with Jared and even John passed the ball a lot, CJ. We have to have perimeters that can do guard things, but they don't have to be a lead guard. They have to be able to run a pick and roll is what they have to be able to do. If they can run a pick and roll, our fast breaks, that ball goes to the open man because all 5 of our guys are capable of dribbling it, playing in the open floor. So it's not like, you know, when I played that, and I know if they were around, they'd probably get mad at me saying this. You know, Bob Allen down there, if he dribbled twice, is going off his foot. And George, if he dribbled twice, go off his foot. Bob Red, you never know if he's going to lose it or not. And Jim didn't want it. So that left me, I had to do it, you know. So it's not like that anymore. And really, a lot of teams, all these bigger guys, Michael Byers can handle pick and roll. He can come up and do things in a lot of situations. So it's not as critical as it used to be in the way we play our offense anyway.
You mentioned Darius George, and I'd like to touch on his and from your perspective a little bit, just because this time last year you were talking about he's got to find his way, and there was a very real possibility of him redshirting, and then early on he was one of the more consistent players for you. How far has he come from this?
Well, you know, without having a game to really assess where he is, just watching him in practice, tremendous game. He, you know, you drive in there and he'd look like a bull in a china shop. You never know what you're going to get. You know, he run into people, flop, fall down, throw it off balance. He seems to be under control, finishing at the rim. He handles with pressure on him now. His shot looks good so far. It's not the smoothest thing in the world, but it's, you know, he shoots a good percentage. If you look, he makes them. Now, he's got some bad misses, but his percentages are good. And so Like I said, he's a big surprise how far he's come. He and Andy Taylor. Andy Taylor has taken, oh God, he's taken leaps and bounds where he was last year. So, you know, again, they'll be truly tested when we play somebody, but just looking at them and having scouts and agents in here, they're pretty impressed with the amount of talent we put on the floor.
Well, you mentioned that, and that rolls right into what I was going to talk about. Talked to Alex Klein of the Knicks yesterday. It's a guy I've known for a while, and it seems like there's more and more NBA guys that are getting into Huntington and taking a look at Kinsey, taking a look at a lot of your talent. You know, for Kinsey, how big is that for him personally, considering where he was when he started, and for your program, how big is that moving forward?
Well, you know, just like any of us, if you have what your dream is, maybe your dream is to be Bob Costas or something, you know, and you got a chance to interview for it. How excited would you be? You know, you know, anytime you got a chance of people helping you fulfill your dream, it'll get the blood flowing, you know, and you know, he handles it well. He's going to be excited. I think the more he does, the easier it'll be for him. But obviously, first few times, it's not easy, and you want to make every shot, make every play right. So, you know, it's probably not easy, but again, he's a sharp young man that's makes good decisions. So I think he'll handle it. As far as the program goes, this is the best we've had. I mean, obviously we're practicing. You got, you know, they're here to look at Tavion, but you got 15 others interviewing, you know, they get to play too. And a guy like Andy is standing out, and he's turning heads too. So, you know, it's good for Michael, all our seniors, George. You know, I think the Indiana said, you know, they might try to get him on a D-League team. You know, it's good for the program. It's good. You know, I'm here to two things. One, to make Marshall a really good team, but also to help young men find their way to the next step in this world. You know, there's a lot of money made in basketball, but if it's not basketball, helping them find a way to where they'll be successful once they leave here. So I do this, not just my coaching record. I look at it, success rate of kids that come out of our program, along with winning, but also the success our kids find once they leave here. I will say because they asked, so I'm gonna bring it up since you guys haven't asked me a question. I was ready to, I was loaded. Now I was waiting on y'all to say, well, have you been practicing the zone? And I just want to know, we have been, but I want you to know that in the Final Four, the team that played the most zone was 5% of the time. So figure that out. You know, everybody like 2%, 3%, 1% of the time, 5% of the time. Only one out there is outliers, Syracuse at 94. But so, you know, we'll play a little bit of zone, but our bread and butter has got to be a man-to-man, because the 3-point line has changed. You know, I know a lot of guys that say, well, I coached in the 80s, and that was when everybody was shooting about if they shot a three, if the three was in. But if it was in, they were shooting around 30%. Well, these guys they got guys shooting 42, and not just at the line, 4 feet behind the line. So, you know, it's a good defense. Maybe we can incorporate it some, but basically we're a man-to-man team. And everybody goes find stats, tells me to change, I'll change. But they better find me some data that reinforces your thoughts. Not that you played at the YMCA and it worked. What else?
I don't know. I think that's a good note to end on. I don't have anything else if you guys are good.
I'm
Well,
good.
just gotta go out there and get better then. That's all I got.
Dan, I don't know if you,
What?
I said, can you still hear me at all? I went through a dead
Yeah.
spot in Atoka, Oklahoma, but last thing I'll ask is from where Kenzie was when he arrived as a freshman, what did he have to work on the most to put himself in the position to be a prospect?
167 to 200 or right at 200. He was not a scorer. The fact that he's averaged 19 points, leading scorer for us last year, he was always an 8 to 9, 10-point guy, to 11 maybe. So his aggressiveness offensively, shot looks much better, much quicker. Just growing as a man, as a young man. He's a super young man. So, I think he's grown in that regard. His leadership, he's very vocal now. I think he's more outgoing now. He was, when he first got here, he took that reserve position behind John and CJ, and he played it well. Since that time, he's really come out as the vocal leader, locker room talker on the floor. Offensively, much more aggressive with a better shot. 169 to 200. And I also want to take credit for being able to teach him how to get 44 inches off the floor. I'm sure it was my coaching that did that. Maybe I should go thank his mom and dad. Maybe that would be better. Is that it?